All right, all right. Hey, guys, welcome back. All right, everybody. So, before we jump on into this collective message, let me just first say it's really nice to see you. I know I didn't put out any videos at all yesterday. Had a little couch mishap, and this is just a public service announcement. Don't move a couch in an area where there is I guess it was I don't know if it was really prickly pear, but it was a cactus um, right next to my walkway. And yeah, I spent hours yesterday picking little, like, there I still have them in my fingers too, little tiny fine hairs. I mean, we're talking millions of them. I tried duct tape, I tried vacuuming, I tried everything. I think I salvaged the couch, but in any case, yeah. So that's where I was yesterday, in case you guys were wondering what the heck happened to me. I had to salvage the couch. I had to, you guys. Anyway, on that note, I wanted to say I also had an interesting conversation with my brother, and my brother, in true brother form, said, "Hey, checked out your channel the other day. My God, people are so nice to you in the comments. It made me sick. I couldn't even read any more of them." And I was like, you know what? He is so right. I feel so lucky. You guys are so incredibly kind. You're so sweet. You're so nice to me. You're so nice to each other. So we need to do another just day of thanks. So tomorrow, Monday, I will be going live on both channels. We'll be doing some card pulls again. It's also Members Day, so we'll hang out with members, but then we'll also go live for subscribers as well on both channels. So just to give you guys a heads up, I will probably make an announcement in the morning on Monday at what time I'll go live, and it may be more than once per day. So tomorrow is just a day to dedicate to saying thank you to everybody. So let's get into this, shall we? Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. All right. For the collective, we start out with a Three of Swords in the reverse, the Two of Cups in the reverse. So this is nice. We have somebody whose heartbreak is really alleviating. In fact, disappearing altogether. And I think it's because it was either a heartbreak surrounding something that at one point had felt like, oh my God, this was the love of my life. How come things didn't work out? And I think this is not to insult a previous partner per se, but sometimes when we realize after the fact, hey, maybe that wasn't the only like good relationship I'll ever have. In fact, maybe there were a lot of things that weren't so perfect. Hindsight's 2020, and we don't have to vilify somebody in order to be able to get over them, but we certainly see. I think somebody says, I was lying to myself a little bit. Magician in the reverse can be where we're not really manifesting. We're perhaps tricking ourselves. And even I think a character was tricking themselves into believing that this was still a huge heartbreak for quite a while. Hey, I think that's very relatable. I've been there, done that before. And then slowly but surely, maybe I matured out of something and then could look back and be like, actually, wait a second. There were so many things that didn't click. There were so many things that didn't fit. Okay, I'll use this as an example. When I was little, I always wanted those little tiny jelly shoes, that little kids wore, little plastic ones. They were so cute, crisscross. But finally, at one point in time, I don't think that they were mine because I never owned any, but I know I was able to put a pair of those on. And within minutes, I distinctly remember the agony of my baby toe sticking out through the little plastic crisscrosses. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, the thing that you pined for, the thing you wanted so bad when you were whatever, 6, it turns out it caused you a lot of pain. And so maybe this is like, yeah, you know what, that relationship made my baby toe hurt. It was probably not a baby toe, it was probably a heartbreak. But I would just say it's really nice to see a character no longer in that kind of hurt and pain. And it's a big change when we can look back and say, okay, that didn't suit me at all. Life force energy. This is awesome. This is maybe a day where a character is like really feeling that surge of power coming back to them. Their perspective might be better. Their energy might be much more uplifted. We have the 9 of Cups upright, definitely getting happier by the minute. Also, this is very appropriate. I mean, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, so, we're going into fall, and this is what colors are starting to look like. So I would just say this is very timely. Even if our character is not in the Northern Hemisphere, it still says the time is like right now in the present in this storyline, right? So, and it could be fall wherever our character is, but they're starting to have other, I even think that they're starting to say, I think I was protected. I think in truth, I pined for something that really wasn't right for me. And I see that now, and it didn't work out, and that's okay. In fact, maybe I'm ready to say thank you, universe, for not letting that thing work out. We got a 5 of Swords, and we've got that 4 of Swords. It ended with either anger, or it ended with hurt and pain, or ended with something that was, it was unpleasant. And I think somebody blocked our lead character. By the way, the only thing that so far our lead character could potentially be in this storyline is possibly like Virgo Gemini energy. Doesn't mean that has to be the zodiac that our character is sitting in the energy of, but so far it's our only major arcana. More than that, though, I love the fact that we're talking all about the energetic headspace that a character is in. But I do think that we'll say she got blocked by whomever she was dealing with. Now, they could have been Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. We don't really know. We just see that there was an awful lot of sword energy. There was water energy, too, because once upon a time, she thought it was their 2 of Cups. And I'm going to say somebody stonewalled her at the end of this relationship, blocked her, had nothing to do with her. And she's healed from that too. Maybe that was the thing that really left pain behind, was they blocked me. They ended things with me on that note. Let me just ask, I'm just curious, why did she get ghosted or blocked or gray walled? Action of Swords, Empress, and the Chariot. Look, and forgive me, this might be an unpleasant message, although I could read it in 2 different ways. Either they blocked her because it was too frustrating for them to realize she was an empress. She was somebody who they said, I can't keep up with her anyway. She's going to end up with somebody else, and I don't want to see it. So I'd rather run. And the reason I would first perhaps interpret it that way is because we do have them here in the fog. Sorry, guys, my boo-boo is healing on my finger, but slowly. They're still in the clouds here, but they made these decisions while they were cloudy. Like, she's an empress. I don't want to be with her. She's going to leave me for somebody else anyway. I'd rather leave her first. It could have been their own frustration. Maybe they'll figure this out later when they come out of the fog and they get to the real lesson, the mountaintop there. But the other way I could read it is they found somebody else and they were just like, I'm going to pick a fight with her suddenly because there's somebody else. I'm like, ooh, I want to go for this empress instead and move on with somebody else. And that could have been the message as well. I don't know if we're going to get a direct answer. Let me just see. How else would I interpret this? King of Swords. I mean, honestly, they're in the upright position saying they're happy to have moved on. They're saying everything transformed. So they could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius who felt as if they met somebody that was the person they really wanted to be with. It still doesn't make sense why, if you're a king upright, why do you end things like this, though? So I guess I kind of have a hard time, because it's not usually how a king would be. It wouldn't be in a big argument and then I block you. That would seem like if they create an argument, that's a manipulation tactic. So I have a hard time believing that, especially because we have that murky energy and that impulsive action, something doesn't add up in this for me. But let me just see. Anything else about this King of Swords? Sorry to delve into this. Maybe I shouldn't have gone this route, but I just, out of sheer curiosity, we have a 9 of Pentacles sideways. We had the 6 of Cups upright, the Inspiration of Wands upright, the 3 of Pentacles upright. You know what? There is something here, and everything has worked out the way it's supposed to. I have to say, we can give a sigh of relief and say, no, this is good. Look, this person, I don't even think they were ever really single. This is somebody who went right back to a previous connection, and that was a connection maybe they actually belonged in. It could be that they ran away for the sake of shame. It could be that they did pick a fight and end things suddenly and like, oh, yikes, I was with an empress already. Then I thought things were going to end, so I tried something with someone else. Then I yo-yoed right back and said, no, I actually need to run back to the previous partner. So how do I do this? Well, I need to create a scenario where I can block this other person So I'm going to go ahead and do that. No wonder this whole storyline starts out with her saying, you know what? This was actually, I'm not missing out on anything. I shouldn't be heartbroken over this. There was nothing here for me to be sad over. I kind of, I think she really dodged a bullet on this one. Granted, it seems to have been a King of Swords who impulsively bounced on out of her life, ran back to some previous partner. I'm sorry if that's kind of a painful message for this fictional character here, but aren't we glad he's gone for her? So she doesn't have, her good time taken up by somebody who's actually still invested elsewhere. And by the way, a big part of that investment may have been money. And there's a third energy, not just between the King of Swords and the Empress, but it's almost like somebody paid him to go back. I don't know. Something here was like, ooh, well, that sounds like a good deal. Let me bounce on over. Now they feel very confident about the decision that they made. So good for them. Good for them for going where they should have gone. And really, we can say we should like hold a parade and celebrate the fact that she's not with this person. I really do think that she's healed from this. Look, we don't have to paint this person as a total scoundrel. We don't really know what happened exactly, other than they were never fully single in the first place. They were never somebody that really was not out of another connection. And so how do you start a new one when you're not out of the other one? So they're where they're supposed to be. For better or for worse, who knows what their karma is going to be. I don't know if it matters what their karma is. Maybe they'll live there happily ever after, wherever they're going. But for her, we see her in a different energy. Okay, hang on, this deck is flip-flopped. Sorry, things got really jumbled. I just found my earrings today. Okay, so they're where they need to be. In fact, let's move them over here and let's go back to her, because right now our lead character, she's let this go, and it's like, goodbye and good riddance. If they needed to go back and finish stuff with, a soulmate or empress, whatever they think they needed to go do, much better that they're out of her world, especially if they ended things on an unkind note. We're glad that they moved on and she has her peace. She's going to find out more and more, probably every day. I would have cut them out of my life anyway. I think as she's on this journey of realizing, I don't feel heartbroken anymore. I think maybe I was tricking myself into thinking that they were the end all be all. And now that I realize that's not the case, and I'm looking at it, with a calmer mind, with an unbroken heart, I realize they didn't even treat me nice. Honestly, I feel so much happier that I'm not thinking about them anymore, and that I'm actually like, my life is better without their energy in it. So I'm realizing how healed I am. And I think she's going to keep reflecting a little bit here and there, just like almost marveling over, maybe when I think about it, maybe there was a lot wrong with that connection. Maybe there were a lot of murky things. Maybe there was a lot of things that I didn't really have full clarity on. And maybe that should have warranted me cutting them out of my life anyway, as I reflect now that I'm healed and I can reflect back. There's nothing better than being able to reflect back and say, yeah, that wasn't actually good, was it? And there was a bunch of stuff that was kind of shady. In fact, I don't even know that I liked any of what just happened. I feel like she's, without vilifying, she's just getting beyond it. We got a 3 of Pentacles upright. We got the Moon upright. And we got the 5 of Wands upright. This is helping her on her own journey. Now, I will say this. She doesn't know it yet, but this story is a big part of her life in a way that, you notice how we have these seeds that have been planted, right? She possibly has not one, but 2 exes, this one and probably someone even longer ago, that either both helped her to learn some lessons that she doesn't know, got kind of implanted, but she's mulling over subconscious memories at the moment, even if it's not in the forefront of her mind. She learned some really important things with 2 previous relationships, this and one that we don't see. It's both of those are going to, help her as she plants a new seed with a new person. There could be an earth energy on the horizon for her. But the thing is, sorry guys, the thing is not just about her learning some things. You notice how she's having this reflection. She's looking at her own self. Both of those past relationships, neither of which I think treated her well. Maybe she's learning, I tolerated some stuff I really shouldn't have. And by the way, please remember this, he could be a she could be a he. This could always have been same sex, doesn't matter. I don't read for genders. So we can substitute him all the while that I keep saying her, doesn't matter. But deep down, we're still going to say she because of what we keep seeing on the cards. Deep down, we see her kind of like churning over in her subconscious. I learned some stuff off of those two past relationships. Now, here's the thing, and it doesn't mean she's got to deal with them again exactly, but because seeds have been planted and things are still growing, neither this person that we've been talking about that she's recently let go of, nor that other person from the past. So I'm going to say both of these people may have actually been much more connected to her than even they realized. They are not totally out of her energy field. This one is definitely going to be coming up behind her, figuratively speaking, of course. She's going to hear from at least one ex, if not two. And that is likely because if the lesson she got off of them was, wow, I got treated like crap in two different ways by two different really important relationships, and I've had to carry on, but they both taught me some things about how I want to do things different, about what I think I deserve, about what I should have my expectations set as. That's great, but it doesn't mean that there's not a karmic injustice here that's still going to have to be balanced, and that may be on their part, particularly if there were two relationships that maybe didn't treat her so well. Now, we don't really know. We only know this relationship definitely didn't, but I'm thinking... So she has definitely headed for a Four of Wands. And with that Six of Swords, she's doing amazing, right? She's very happy. She's moving on. I think her next relationship is going to end up being with somebody she can have a long-term connection with that Four of Wands. And remember what I said, we have two important relationships, though, of her past, even though we only talked about one of them. Well, we have the Devil with two different, performers here being held on strings. She had the great misfortune of maybe having fallen for two different people, both of whom were plagued with their own toxicity. Maybe, again, we saw the King of Swords person either went racing back because of the lure of financial gain, so went racing back to an Empress and found a way to pick a fight with her to exit stage left for their own personal gain. They think about her a lot, even obsessively so, because I don't think that this is something they're able to forget. And whomever the other unspoken previous ex was, I don't know if one of them is here like doing a dance and the other one is here playing guitar. So I'm just going to say that her name stays on their lips, stays on their mind. And maybe that is their karma. When you do somebody dirty because of your own toxic ways and you choose something else and you don't treat somebody well who actually you did care about, but the lure of money was more than, your heart, that may be why they're plagued with the memory of her. She's moving on and ain't thinking about them anymore. And that is the karmic justice here. I don't think of them anymore, except that I realize, I should have looked for somebody who's really able to give me a Four of Wands, somebody who's really balanced, somebody who really is sharing a world with me and gives equal energy and, wants to make long-term plans with me and puts in effort with me. I think she's all about her future. We do not see her having to remember her exes. It simply is they are still coming up behind her. And I think, if anything, this is just the awareness that they carry the karma, not her. These were maybe, they're not her mistakes. They were somebody else's mistakes. So they're the ones that are still very plagued. I feel like she particularly is extremely heavy on two exes' minds right now. Now, does it matter? It might, only because with the Page of Pentacles, she may receive apologies from them, and it could be freakish. It could be like she gets two messages in 1 week or in one day. Her phone's buzzing. She's reaching into her purse, and it's like, is this a joke? Like, how am I getting two messages from two exes that are so far out of my mind, out of my memory? And they both are writing to say, I can't forget you. I'm sorry about what I did. We've got that Nine of Swords. Okay, sucks to be them. Neither person ever moved on. And I think it's probably because of the karma. I did somebody wrong. I did her wrong. We definitely have been talking about two people, but one is so long ago she may not remember them at all. This could be a really big stunner, but I will say they'll never forget her. And they haven't. So it just kind of like a heads up, because they've never forgotten her. I mean, I think that she sits in their mind like a fire. It's like or maybe like a headache. I don't know. There's something here about them being unable to move on. Oh, and they ended up with karmics. Surprise, surprise. So maybe two people did almost the same thing. They went back to other individuals because of a karmic cycle that they couldn't let go of. This says at least one of them is needing to at least clear the air and say, I made an epic mistake. And I just have to tell you, I mean, they may even say, I've made the biggest mistake of my life with you. And I don't know if they're going to actually vocalize the person that I picked instead of you was, they may not use the word karmic, but they may just say, I've kind of been through hell. Well, they did choose a cycle, a repeat cycle. They are really hoping to talk to her. I don't know that it's going to matter. I kind of think this is the closure for her, because we've got that Hierophant followed by that Eight of Wands. This feels like it's something that has played out, over this huge expanse of time. Sometimes people aren't proven right about something, or you don't get justice until much later down the road. But it's like all that time ago when somebody picked a fight with me and then left me, and I was so hurt. But then I healed, and then I moved on, and I realized maybe they never were the right person for me, and I'm happy now, and I'm meeting somebody else. I have met somebody else, and all these years later I hear from them and they go, I treated you like absolute trash, and I've never been able to get over the way I treated you. Not only that, I picked a nightmare for myself instead of you. I just think that they have to get this off their chest, but it's so weird because that seems, again, to happen at a time where it's like right after that, she may be so invested in that new partnership, that Four of Wands, that she winds up really moving forward into a relationship that ends up in marriage with either a Taurus, possibly a fire sign, since we have the Four of Wands and now we have that Eight of Wands. It's almost like this is the full, circle closing. It's like she was left by this person. She'd done some healing. She started meeting somebody else. And it's like right at, if we're watching hands on a clock, it's like, 11:55, and they send this message to her. This ex sends this message to her, and it's like, wow, that's right before the clock strikes 12 again, and my circle is complete. And honestly, I'm so in love with this new person. I'm ready to marry somebody. I'm actually finally ready to get married. And I have the right person now. There is something I know we didn't have the Justice card, but I keep thinking about the balance of when something has been really wrong, it slowly but incrementally has been, working back out to level things again. They maybe have needed to say sorry to her. I don't know about the other ex. We only see one person is definitely wanting to correct something with her, but there were two exes in this. I'm not sure if it was the oldest ex or the King of Swords ex, but whatever it is, maybe it symbolically closes a cycle with both of them. Maybe it was so similar that both people did the same thing. They were individuals that just got sucked right back into a karmic cycle that they couldn't seem to shake. And at the expense of, in this lifetime, they could have broken those karmic cycles and been with her, but they just got sucked back in because they either didn't have the lessons learned yet, or they didn't have the backbone, or they didn't have, I don't know, there was an energy of like somebody picking a fight with her though on purpose to justify blocking her. And that part, I'm like, I'm glad we don't see her like reaching back out to them. I'm glad we see her instead launching forward with more confidence into a new relationship that ends up in romance, in long-term stable connection. This in particular is like the as above, so below energy. And I can't help but say, again, it's more like, this is how it was supposed to go. Thank God I didn't end up with you. You know, if you were still in a karmic cycle, you never could have been with me, but it bothers you and I've stayed in your mind. The dirty way you treated me stayed in your mind, which actually ultimately did help you in breaking your own karmic cycle. So great. I was an agent of change for you. But in the meantime, you also taught me that I should move on from you. And I have. And God, I met a great person. And honestly, I'm so going to throw myself into a really happily ever after with somebody else. Can we see anything else about whomever this person is that she marries? It's really awesome to see this. We have got a Queen of Swords. We have got the Six of Pentacles. It's time. I just said about the clock striking 12, and I know this isn't. This is, whatever. Is it 6:30 or is it 12:30? I can't tell. I can't see which hand is shorter. But I'm still just going to say that's good that we already talked about the clock, because this is something that has been like, she's going to be very aware that, oh, and by the way, now we know it was the situation that really gets leveled up is with that King of Swords, because she's sitting here as a Queen of Swords. She is aware, and maybe deep down she's always known, right about when I finally hear something from them, when I won't need to hear anything from them, but they'll probably show up right about when I'm happy, and I can either get derailed by them. It's almost like, has she secretly known all along? I need to get to a point where I've done enough healing in my own self that when I someday hear from them, when they break their silence with me, I need to not get derailed. But that probably won't happen until I've met somebody new and I'm really like sure and confident about what I want now. I almost think, remember we had the moon for her? And I know this isn't a card of divine timing exactly, but it is an entire story about the balance of the universe and the balance of energies and the balance of even how weird it is that right when we're happy or we've moved on, that's usually when we all hear from exes, right? It's kind of like a weird, Newton's love law. It's just like one of those weird phenomena. Like an ex is like, I sense you happy without me, must reach out. It's like zombies coming back for brains. I don't think she's going to be shocked by this, because she's like, I knew this would put the period at the end of the sentence. I knew probably right when I'm ready to move on with somebody new, that's when this would happen. And sure enough, I was just trying to ask about whomever the person is that she's matching with. And it could be somebody who, heck, it could be a Queen of Swords, a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, feminine. But I'm thinking it's somebody that she really balances well with. It's somebody that she's like, somehow my future has always been entwined with hearing from that ex. With the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, this somehow does complete the cycle. Whomever they are, it's like, I've always known that I was meant to be with, let me put it this way, since we're already in kind of a sci-fi-esque, balance of the universe type of story, I would say somewhere in her higher self, she has known all along the kind of lover she would end up with when she had learned all of her lessons. I think deep down, she has known exactly what kind of person. Maybe somebody with a beard, maybe somebody who is of Latin heritage. I just say that because this is the Santa Muerte deck that we're using, and I'm going off of imagery right now. But it could be she's always kind of intuitively known that she would end up with a particular person. And if she's really honest with herself, she also knew that that King of Swords was not actually going to be her person. Now, maybe she's only getting that crystal clear image now, but it's like, I knew that even though I couldn't see the face of the person that I was supposed to be with, I've always secretly known who they were. They were always just on the outskirts. This person could wear hats a lot. This Hierophant person, the Taurus energy, could be somebody that, I don't know, maybe the number 7 is going to be important in regards to them. I don't know if that's going to be their lucky number. I don't know if it's going to be the day that she meets them. I don't know if there's going to be some reason that 7 is involved here. All this is about cycles, right? And sure enough, we have the World, and we see her sitting in a wedding gown with the scythe, with the, it's all about the time, right? It's I always call it the egg timer. She needed to be really, truly done with the story of the ex. Whomever this is, he's going to be very brave. And I'm going to say him. I don't, even though we don't know for sure. Her true partner could also have a pet iguana. um, or somebody who's very brave. This could be somebody who wrestles alligators. Maybe they're Cajun. Maybe they come from, the South. They could be a wrestler. They could be somebody that does martial arts. They could be somebody who simply has the bravery to really step up and, go after things that they want in life. I feel like she has needed a strong partner. I feel like that is absolutely true. So, in this story, even though we didn't come right out and say it, but these skeletons here up above, she too has ended a karmic cycle that we didn't know she was in. She had a couple of exes that it was the same old, same old. She kept having people in her life that maybe didn't treat her so well. And this is not to, victim shame or anything like that. Maybe it was a very giving, very loving person who ended up helping other people break their karmic cycles, whether or not she realized she was doing it. She maybe was giving love to people who were hungry for something, and maybe she was like an empath who sensed when people needed something, and maybe that's why she ended up with partners that didn't really have staying power, didn't really, like, they weren't really fully like at the adult status where they could choose good choices for themselves. But she's learned something about her own self with that moon card that we saw earlier. And we definitely see a cycle that has been completed for her in her own maturation as well. And I think that the person she's picking, the person she's going to end up with, yes, it could be a Leo, could be a Capricorn. Granted, these cards are sideways, but I'm going to say they're going to have a lot in common with her. I think she's wrestled with the truth. She's wrestled with, who she is and what she really wants, also what she's allowed to demand and I think she's somebody who will fight for others, give to others. Well, I think that the person she's going to end up with is very much the same. They too would fight for others, protect others. And maybe that is going to be, that can be such a beautiful trait in characters. But also if it becomes overly self-sacrificing, then it becomes that karmic cycle. Like, how do you know when to fight for others, give way more leeway, be super understanding, give all your love and heart and support to somebody who maybe isn't giving it back to you. I'm wondering if the partner that she ends up with is so similar to her. But we definitely see completions of cycles here. So whomever this person is, I know we still can't exactly see their face because even here they still have a mask on. To me, that would just indicate she's right almost at the point of really meeting and falling head over heels with the person who is truly her life partner. But it's all coming together at the same time that she's about to hear from this one particular ex. And I'm going to say it's the King of Swords who's going to be reaching out to her. She's not responding to them. It just, like I said, it puts the period on the end of the sentence for that. Maybe that is very symbolic for this is the day that I can let them go completely. And now I meet this other person, and that is the one that I end up marrying. Whomever that Leo Hierophant person is, I love the fact that the person she ends up with seems to be like an individual who is like, we can get excited about who they're about to be. I don't feel like she's met him yet. I feel like that's just on the horizon. Sorry, guys. All right, everybody. It's really nice to see you guys. Thank you for being with me. Hi, everybody. Ren, I'm sorry that the power was on and off for you. Sorry, darling. I'm still honored that you're here, though. Good to see you. You guys, thanks so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is Monday. We're going to be going live on this channel and the other tomorrow and do some storytellings for subscribers and members. So keep that in mind. Keep your notification bells turned on. I'll try to post something in the morning to give a roundabout timeline of when I'll be live on both channels. Also, don't forget, Monday is the day that I will be announcing whomever the winner is of a longer storytelling from the today's topic videos. I've brought that back. We used to do this a long time ago where I keep comments on the today's topic videos, and you guys can enter to win on there. And then each Monday I pick a winner and do a storytelling for them. So with that in mind, we're going to do a today's topic video as well today, get us kind of caught up, but I will be doing zodiacs throughout the day. My goal is to get to all zodiacs. So in any case, guys, I will see you throughout the day, and I'd certainly see you guys tomorrow. Annie is, you sweetheart. Samira, hi honey. Hi Monica. Oh my gosh, Monica, I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't me that you were waiting for. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get to anything yesterday. I had to salvage my couch. So the weirdest thing, this place that I moved into, I have a couch that is wonderful and comfortable, and I've hauled it around with me for years as I've moved, and it's like a true 6 foot long couch. It's super comfortable, right? And I'm tall, so you could nap on it for a 6 footer like me. Well, that couch won't fit in this house, meaning I can't get it through the doors. And I was like, great. And I can't part with it. So it lives in the garage now, but it meant I had to get something else. And so I went to a thrift store and I found for $70, I found a very comfortable love seat. So, okay, we're doing good. Well, wasn't actually even last night. It was in the middle of the day yesterday that we tried to get it into the house, and it fit through the door and everything. But there are cacti that are planted right along the walkway that zigzags into my house. And the whole edge, and it's a suede couch, the whole edge of the couch scraped alongside, and we didn't recognize it. And we get it into the house, and we're, manhandling the couch. And I mean, the whole up the arm, the whole side of us was just covered. I still have them. It took hours to try to like tweezer out the, because they're really, really fine little cactus hairs that had gotten into the whole side of the couch. So it was quite the ordeal. I mean, I was this close to saying, I think this goes to the dump because I don't know how I'm going to get these out. And I was online and researching how do we do this? What are we going to do? By the way, duct tape doesn't work that good to get them out on suede, even though they said it'll work on most fabrics. Intense vacuuming helped, but also broke some of them off. So I can still feel them under the surface. So then it was couch cover. Then it was, so sorry, you guys, that's what I did yesterday. Really stupid. Sorry to bore you with stuff, but public service announcement. Pay attention if you have cacti growing next to your pathway and you're moving a couch into your house. And if you get things in a suede couch, I don't really know what to tell you. Emily, I read that. Yes, I read that I got most of mine out, but it's my thumb still hurts and there's like some random hairs. What I was mostly scared about was Aries. I was like, oh God, what if his little paws get this? So it seems like he's good though, but yeah, then it was a big cleanup on the sidewalk. And now I'm going to humbly request if I can please take that cactus out because I'm so scared of trick-or-treaters. I don't want little kiddos to accidentally fall into that. It's a beautiful and quite sprawling cactus. And it should have been on my radar, but it didn't look like it had those little tiny fine spines, and wow, it does. So everybody stay safe out there. But yes. Luminous Marina, amen. High five to the yard sailing. I'm all about that. No, Miss Light, it was pretty funny. We were laughing about it, but it became an all-day ordeal. And if I had just said, whatever, I'm not going to do this, but the couch was so comfy and I really was pleased and I felt like it was such a good find that I had to try to save it if I can. So we'll see. Hopefully I did a good enough job and the couch cover will be sufficient to keep it all. If there are little ones still, kind of within the suede, I know that there are. I can feel them if I press and run my hand. But I'm like, maybe a second layer of a thick couch cover will be sufficient to protect it. But yeah, it was disappointing, but on the other hand, pretty funny, and it all worked out. So, but I missed you guys yesterday. I was really done doing the cleaning on that couch and my arms and our clothes too, though. Raven Team Maniac, so nice to see you, love. Monica, thanks again, love. So good to see everybody. Sadie Bird, hey, you know what? In the big scheme of life, my little problems are nothing. My little problems are nothing. So I do not need to fuss about anything. Hey, Sheena Bowen. San Juanita, nice to see you. Air Bubble. Oh, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, honey. I'm so glad. Oh, babe, I'm sorry. Well, we wish you a very happy belated birthday and are very honored that you're here, sweetheart. I hope that this year is going to be your absolute best, and I hope it's a year for tons of blossoming in your own world and lots of beautiful things coming your way. Catherine Hart, happy Sunday, babe. Samira, he just discussed getting a pet iguana. Oh my God, how timely is that? Hi, Katie. Hannah. Chrissy, thank you, babe. Thank you guys so much for giving it a thumbs up. And Chrissy, thank you for reminding me. You were so sweet, Chrissy. So much love to you. Hi, Isabel. GOSC10P. Hi, honey. Hi, G. Hetty, Christina 111, Courtney Walsh. Awesome to see you. Shell Hamilton. Hi, babe. AC's in the house. Nice to see you, sweetheart. Lori, hi. Oh, sweetheart, you're still healing from that hip replacement surgery? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sending you so much healing love, healing energy. I hope that this one gets back on track as swiftly as possible, as swiftly as is right for your body. I know repairing tissue can take time, huh? Hey, Rodney. Sadie Bird, thanks again, hon. Sadie, for like the first, whatever it's been, like 10, 12 days that I've been in this place, this was the only pair of earrings I had unpacked, and I didn't know which box they were in. So I've worn these nonstop, and I was like, yay, I found them. Sierra Clark, Mancy Halls, Broken Bee for Bliss, Mystical Visions. Hi, hon. I'm doing great. How are you, babe? Hi, Lisa. So delighted to see you. MJ Gutierrez, thank you for being here, babe. Violet's in the house. EM, thank you guys. Slave Princess, wonderful to see you. Hi, Lillian. Violet is so cute. When am I making some of those geode cookies again? I didn't think I did a very good job with those geode cookies. Some of you guys will remember around Christmas time, I made a whole bunch of different kinds of cookies, and I had seen online different people had made these fancy geode cookies. And I mean, you know how bakers are like so talented. Okay, I am not. I am not. I am an impressionist when I do, you know, any kind of artwork. So my painting is always impressionistic. And these geode cookies are just beautiful. And actually, they turned out super yummy. I will say that. But check that out. If you want to like a really cool, you bake sugar cookies, and it doesn't matter. You just kind of make them into like rough, like ovally shapes. I just kind of like cut them. Some I just like patted out. But after you bake them, then you frost them. Like I did white, and then I did like a swirl of like purple, and then you take that rock candy, the sugar candy, and like place it strategically. And so I had like white and purple rock candy. But mine just did not look beautiful like other people's online. But definitely check it out. There's lots of people that have done a beautiful job with their geode cookies. So yeah, I looked at probably 15 different images that I saw of those, and then was like, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, check it out, you guys. But I haven't made those again because mine were pretty ugly. I did post a picture of them though, because I'm not ashamed. I tried. Christiane, you know those little jellies also, huh? Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, those little jelly shoes were adorable, weren't they? You guys, thanks so much for being here. You were so much fun. I love getting caught up and getting a chance to chit chat a little bit. Butterfly messages. Hi, sweetheart. Lightning Cast. Good to see you. Christiane, I'm glad you like the Halloween backdrops. Good. We'll do another one as we really approach Halloween. Next week, I think I'm shifting to something else, a little more cosmic, I think. But then I also have a great one that takes us to Australia. So I'm debating. It's just we've done so many lately that I think we're the orangey backdrops that I'm like, let's change color tones for a little bit before we go back to orangey. Sexy Centaur Sag. Hi, babe. Aiden. Hi, sweetheart. Paris Jade Humphrey. Violet. Thank you again, Violet. It's so nice to see you in a live. Hi, Rossi. Robin and Violet, you were first in the house. I just now got all the way to the beginning. Violet was first. AC, you were second. Robin, you were third. EM, you were fourth. You guys, I warm my heart so much. It's so good to see you. All right, everybody. I will see you throughout the day. We'll get to zodiacs. Kiara Leone, thank you for being here, babe. Miss Angie 504. Sarah. Me too. Me too. Oh my God, air bubble, that's adorable. You made a Teddy chocolate cake once and it looked like a roadkill. I made Yoda, the head of Yoda one time. It wasn't pretty. Yes, Linda, you were so spot on. I do. I change the backdrop and then I change my clothing selection. And I will be honest, I have about a week's worth of any particular color scheme in my closet. And so that's usually really why I change backdrops each week, is because I'm out of clothes that would match. All right, you guys. So good to see you. It's Ellie online. Wonderful to see you. Hi, AJ. Lalu. Steph Love. Born late summer 71. AJ's bare feet. Awesome to see you. You guys are so awesome. Hannah, I know you see me. Crystal Suzanne. So nice to catch you, babe. All right, you guys. I will see you again. Lots of love, you guys. I'll see you throughout the day. Bye for right now.